Hello, my most amazing artists. Here's a picture of the architecture that we looked at last week. We're going to be finishing our architecture project. Really look at the fine details in this picture. All of the lines, all of the little details. That's what I want you looking at. And today we are going to be finishing our project by adding details with paint pens. And then we will have a short little critique. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. As you look at these pictures, this architecture from India, I want you to think about the detail you see. Look at the color on that one. All right, now I'm going to let you work on your project for about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, I have bought new paint pens. These are old ones that I'm using today, but you should have some new ones. We have Sharpies. Those aren't paint pens. We have oil-based paint pens. And we have water-based paint pens, but none of this will come out of your clothing, so you need to be wearing a smock today. So choose one, and then you're going to start adding details. If the marker does not work, then get a new one. Hopefully yours will work because I ordered some new ones. Ah, that's better. Use lots of paint pens and add lots of details. You will need to shake the paint pens, then press the tip down onto your messy mat to get the paint flowing. If you don't do this, you might get a big, huge pile of paint on your paper. So try them out on the messy mat first so that that does not happen to you. Next, you can use gold acrylic paint. Be sure that you wash your brush out really good when you're finished. The paint I got you is a lot better than the paint I'm painting on mine. All right, so now we are going to critique, and I have my friend Colt here. He's going to help me. I have my project, what I've done so far, and Colt, hold yours up. What he's done so far. So I've actually had 10 or 15 minutes to add detail. He hasn't. He's just helping me critique to kind of show you what to expect. So when we critique, we are going to tell our neighbor or someone sitting at your table something that you like about their project and something that you think they could do to make their project better. You're not being mean when you critique. You are criticizing their art, but to help them. The purpose is to help them create a better piece of art and to communicate with each other, because I may have a good idea for Colt and Colt may have a great idea for me, but if we don't talk about it, then those ideas are lost. So we're going to critique and talk about it. So Colt was going to say a little bit about my artwork. Tell me something that you like about it, Colt.
I like how on some of your walls, some of them are plain, but I like how on this one you made it look like they're brick walls and not just plain walls.
So all I did was add lines there with the paint pens, and that just adds a lot of detail. So now we're going to look at Colt's for a second. So one thing I like about Colt's is that he has a castle. I love the pattern that he has created. Pattern is always good in art. So I really like those things. And now Colt can tell me something that he thinks that I could change or do better to finish mine off.
I think that you could add more detail to these windows like you did here.
Okay.
Where you put like plants on them or so.
Okay, so just add more details. I know I did add a lot of details on some of these buildings, and I haven't added details to that. So that's a good idea. And then on Colt's, he hasn't had a chance to add details, so it's kind of not fair. But I think it would be cool if he could add some details to the genie's face with a paint pen, maybe like a real thin paint pen, and maybe add some details into his door. I see that he has them drawn with pencil, but they're hard to see, so that might be cool to add with like some gold touches. And just add more detail. You know, you can straighten out your lines with the paint pens, so that would be kind of cool. You might think of using some contrasting colors, because if you use blue here, it might not show up. But if you use, you know, like a yellow here and a blue up here, it might be really cool. Okay, so remember, critiquing is about telling your neighbor something that you like and telling your neighbor something that they can improve upon to finish up today. So now you're just going to finish your project up. Add your details. Think about what your neighbor told you, what advice your neighbor gave you. Think about if it's something that you want to use in your project. and finish up.